The right to defend your rights. The Founding Fathers, in the Declaration of Independence, recognized the fact that you are endowed by your Creator with certain unalienable rights. This fact is not open for discussion. This fact is not in dispute. This fact cannot be modified, altered, or amended by the mere will of men. This fact can never be modified, altered, or amended by oath-taker public servants. As a quick refresher, we will briefly review our above the line, below the line highlights. Your Creator endowed you with unalienable rights. We, the people, established the Constitution as the supreme law of the land. The Constitution was amended to incorporate the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights did not create new rights for you. It only served to protect and guarantee the rights given you by your Creator. The Founding Fathers incorporated the oath, affirmation, into the Constitution to ensure that our oath-taker public servants would be held accountable for crimes against the people for violating the rights of the people. Violating or even diminishing a Creator-granted right of the people by an oath-taker public servant is a crime. That is called a violation of their oath of office. An oath-taker who violates his oath of office can be charged with felony perjury, sedition, insurrection, and treason against the people. We established, in above the line, below the line, that the United States Supreme Court has stated, quote, "The state cannot diminish rights of the people," end quote. Hurtado versus California, 110 U.S. 516. And where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. Miranda versus Arizona, 384 U.S. 436 at 491. The focus of this presentation is to instill in you the importance of knowing your rights, your right to defend your rights, and holding your ground in defense of those rights. You can emphatically state that you have rights. You can name and claim your rights. But will you take whatever stand is necessary to defend your rights? Or will you succumb to a state or federal bureaucracy that would say they have legislated away a right or diminished a right? Without raising an objection, would you meekly stand by and allow a state or federal bureaucracy, having no proof to a limited delegation of authority, simply legislate away your rights or diminish a right? I believe most would agree that there is one right you have that is more important than all other rights put together. That right is the right to defend your rights. Whenever you put your oath-taker public servants on notice that you have the right to defend your rights, you are eliminating any perceived authority any public servant might think they have to legislate away or diminish one of your rights, especially the right to defend your rights. Your oath-taker public servants are bound by their oath to defend your rights, including your right to defend your rights. They don't get to decide for you what your rights are, or to what extent or what modern modes, methods, or technologies you decide are necessary for you to possess in order to defend your rights, period. It would be ludicrous for any legislature or executive order to declare it to be sufficient for you to defend your rights with X, Y, or Z tools when you claim your rights to have A through Z tools to defend your rights. The oath of office of public servants, from sheriff to governor to legislators to presidents, all take the oath affirmation to support the constitutions, which in turn is their sworn oath to defend your God-granted rights, whatever you determine those rights to be. What makes your claim to the right to defend your rights so powerful is that the delegation of limited authority given to oath takers does not give them latitude to interpret what is good for you and what is not good for you in defense of your right to defend your rights. That is not what your oath-taker public servants were elected or hired to do. They are required by the Constitution to maintain a hands-off my rights policy. What is not specifically granted by the Constitution for oath-taker public servants to do, they are specifically forbidden to do. Do you find any authority in the Constitution for your oath-taker public servants to diminish or eliminate one of your rights? Absolutely not. We, the people, forbid such actions by our oath-taker public servants. In fact, any oath-taker public servant that votes to diminish a single God-given right of yours commits felony perjury of their oath. This is important. It is time that we, the people, serve notice to our oath-taker public servants, sheriff, governor, state attorney general, state legislators, senators, and congressmen and women, the President and the United States Attorney General, that we the people did not grant authority for any state or federal government body or agency to diminish a single right of the people, especially the right to defend our rights by whatever means and tools we deem necessary, whatever tools we are able to acquire. For any oath-taker public servant to arrogantly say, "You don't need this tool or that tool," is a direct violation of their oath of office, and they are to be held accountable for felony perjury of their oath, sedition, insurrection, treason against the people. Their words are their testimony that they neither respect you or the solemn oath they made, and are unworthy to hold any office in the public trust. These tools we speak of are for defense of our rights. Let me repeat, these tools we speak of are for defense of our rights. These tools are needed by many to support the right to life for you and your family, for food. These tools are essential to defend your right to life from a home invasion perpetrated by common, ordinary criminals or from a mugger in a parking lot or alley. But most of all, you are endowed by your Creator with the right to defend your rights from oath-taker public servants that would attempt to confiscate your tools. The mere suggestion by oath-taker public servants that they would confiscate your tools, essential for the defense of your rights, is perjury of their oath, in conspiracy to deprive or diminish a right of yours. You alone can make your declaration known to all men that your right to possess these necessary tools in defense of all your rights from oath breakers must remain inviolate. Oath breakers are the most serious threat we the people face today. They are the most dangerous because they surround themselves with other oath-taker public servants that guard and protect the oath breaker with tools far more powerful and dangerous than the tools we the people have access to purchase and use. It is important to know that if you were protecting, aiding, or abetting one of we the people charged with a crime, you would be considered an accomplice. Never forget, the oath-taker public servant that protects, aids, and abets an oath-breaker public servant is likewise an accomplice, and have at that moment also become an oath-breaker themselves. Let it be forever memorialized that any oath-taker that has knowledge of and neglects to prevent another oath-taker from breaking his oath is chargeable with an action for neglect to prevent under Title 42 U.S.C. 1986, which reads in part, quote, "Every person who, having knowledge that any of the wrongs conspired to be done, are about to be committed, or having power to prevent or aid in preventing the commission of the same, neglects or refuses to do so, if such wrongful act be committed, shall be liable to the party injured or his legal representatives for all damages caused by such wrongful act, which such person by reasonable diligence could have prevented, and such damages may be recovered in an action on the case, and any number of persons guilty of such wrongful neglect or refusal may be joined as defendants in the action." Title 42, Section 1986 of the United States Code. See Title 42 U.S.C. 1983 reads in part, "Every person who under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state or territory or the District of Columbia subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen of the United States or other person within the jurisdiction thereof to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law, suit in equity, or other proper proceeding for redress." Title 18 United States Code, Section 241, Conspiracy Against Rights reads, if two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same, or if two or more persons go in disguise on the highway or on the premises of another with intent to prevent or hinder his free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege so secured, they shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. And if death results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include kidnapping or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to kill, they shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years or for life, or both, or may be sentenced to death. Title 18, Section 242, Deprivation of Rights under Color of Law reads, whoever, under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to deprive any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or to different punishments, pains, or penalties on account of such person being an alien or by reason of his color or race than are prescribed for the punishment of citizens, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. And if bodily injury results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include the use, attempted use, or threatened use of a dangerous weapon, explosives, or fire, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. And if death results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include kidnapping or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to kill, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years or for life, or both, or may be sentenced to death. Know your rights. Declare your rights. Declare your right to defend your rights, and tell your oath-taker public servants that you will not be deprived of any tools you deem necessary in order to have the highest degree of protection at your disposal, to exercise your right to defend your rights. Remember, they are your rights. You determine what tools you need to protect your rights. You did not concede that right to some bureaucrat, oath-taker, public servant to decide for you, did you? If your oath-taker, public servant arrogantly states you gave them the right to determine what is best for you to have or not to have, make them prove their claim by providing you with bona fide and lawful proof by citing specific law supported by lawfully recognized documents that clearly establish they can legislate away or diminish a right of the people. That is something they cannot provide. Present them with your affidavit of status declaring you are one of the people, not some fiction, creation of the state to be ruled over and abused by their codes, rules, regulations, assessments, and blatant violations of your Creator-endowed rights. That is your line in the sand. The time when we all naively sat back and believed our oath-taker public servants had our best interests at heart is long since past. It is time we watched our oath-taker public servants like a hawk and hold them accountable for their every word and deed in their performance of their official duties. We will no longer tolerate any oath-taker public servant who would attempt to deprive us of our rights or even diminish our rights one iota. We must be willing to take every civil means possible. Let your oath-taker public servants know that should any infringement of your guaranteed and secured rights occur on their part or by any party with whom they claim any affiliation, you will scrutinize said infringements and any injury therefrom pursuant to 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, and 18 U.S.C. sections 241 through 242 at minimum, and you will proceed accordingly. Know your rights. You have the right to defend your rights.
Hi everyone. Okay, I've got a new thing to talk to you about today.